Welcome to the Chicago Bears film review presented by the Bear Report. I'm your host, Andrew Freeman, and today I'll be going over some of the key plays from the Bears' 24-14 win over the Detroit Lions from this past Sunday. You know, I was at the game this past weekend. It was great to be back at Soldier Field with all of the fans, and the atmosphere was great. It was loud. There was a ton of energy at the stadium. Just a whole lot of fun to see Justin Fields get his first win as an NFL starter. And while a lot of the focus for today's episode will center on Fields and the improvement that we saw from him when compared to that disaster last week against Cleveland, there are a lot of positives to go around for both sides of the ball from this game for this Bears team. So before I dig into the film, if you're a fan of these film breakdowns, make sure to like and subscribe below. Your support is always appreciated as we look forward to providing more video content for Bears fans on the Bear Report YouTube channel. So without further ado, let's start with the good for this game, starting with the offensive side of the ball. And, you know, one of the main things, a really point of emphasis for this Bears offense in this game was, you know, they really wanted to run the ball heavily in this game. And, you know, you can clearly see that, you know, they're all week we were talking about, you know, what was going to happen with the play calling situation. Was it going to be Matt Nagy calling the plays, or was it going to be Bill Lazor calling the plays? And I think we got a pretty fair indication that Bill Lazor was the play calling on this one. Just it looked a lot different than what we saw the first 3 weeks of the year. A lot more under center from the quarterback here, a lot more play action off of it. And, you know, this is a key play from the first drive. We're going to go over some of the key plays from the first drive here to start off. Just looking at this run here is a 4th and 1 situation. And this was just one example of David Montgomery doing what he does best and breaking tackles and maximizing yards after contact. And that's what he does right here. And so we're going to look at the tight from this. And what we're going to get here is we have 7 blockers for the Bears here in a condensed 2 tight end formation against 8 guys in the box. And what we're going to see here is basically they're going to get a hat on the hat up front here, 7 on 7 right here. And that's going to leave David Montgomery with a one-on-one opportunity with the defensive back, and the Bears are basically banking on David Montgomery in a one-on-one situation is going to win that one-on-one situation. So that's what we're going to see here. We're going to see good push in the middle of this offensive line here. They push everybody on this line's defense out of the play here. Sets up the one-on-one with David Montgomery and the defensive back, and that's what David Montgomery does best. He breaks tackles in open field, and he gets yards after contact. All right, this is the second play I want to go over from this drive. This is, I think, the second play after that 4th down conversion. And this is a play action concept that the Bears, they ran quite a bit of this. And what we're going to see here is essentially a fake outside zone run to the left here. And then what we have here concept-wise is Marquise Goodwin and Allen Robinson, they're both running vertical clear-out routes to get rid of the safeties out of the play here and draw the safeties deep, while Darnell Mooney is going to sneak across the middle of the field on a deep crossing route to go into the unoccupied zone, because what we're going to have is the play action fake. It's going to cause the linebackers to bite up the formation to play the run. That's going to open up space underneath for Darnell Mooney to go over the top of that. And with these vertical routes pushing the safeties, and the safeties have to honor that, Darnell Mooney is going to have wide open space here to get an easy catch here. Now, with that said, as we're going to see, Justin Fields does not throw his best ball here, but Darnell Mooney's so wide open, and man, what a catch that Darnell Mooney makes on that throw right here. So we're going to see from the tight here what Justin Fields is looking at and how accurate or inaccurate this ball is, because let's be honest, this was not a very accurate ball, but he gets good protection here, and he just overthrows this a little bit. You know, not quite what we typically see from Justin Fields, who's usually very accurate. But Darnell Mooney, again, he made a great catch on that play. And that's all that really matters there. So Darnell Mooney, when he gets opportunities here to attack down the field, that's really where he's at his best. And I think we saw that in this game, first of all, with that first play right here. All right, this is the first touchdown of the game for the Bears on this one. And we're going to see right here, the offensive line does a fantastic job of blocking on this. And when we go to the tight here, I want you to focus on Jason Peters. So what we're going to see here when Cole Kmet goes across the formation here is Cole Kmet, I believe that's JP Holtz, number 81 there on the tight end to the left of Cole Kmet, and Jason Peters, left tackle, number 71. They're basically going to be triple teaming this defensive end off the line of scrimmage. And what we're going to see here is Jason Peters is going to absolutely help demolish this defensive end, get him out of the hole, and then he's going to take on this linebacker and pancake him to the ground. So we're going to let this play here. And Jason Peters, man, for a 39-year-old, he had a rough game against Cleveland. But for a 39-year-old left tackle, Jason Peters has looked pretty good, in my opinion, so far this year. And, man, I mean, Jason Peters, he's had some issues in pass protection so far this year. If you look at my tracking for the Track in the Trenches series I do in the Bear Report, he hasn't graded out too well so far this season. He's given up a lot of sacks and pressures so far, but his run blocking has been a huge asset for this offense. And it's certainly an element. He certainly added an element of physicality that we just haven't seen from this Bears offensive line in a while. This Bears offensive line has been pretty soft in the past, and Jason Peters, he definitely adds a more mauling physical element here, even though he's 39 years old, which is just incredible to see him still productive at this age. And then this is the second touchdown of the game that I want you to pay attention here. And we're going to see from right here, I mean, David Montgomery showing terrific effort here to get into the end zone here. He should have been stopped around the 5-yard line, and it just doesn't matter. So what I want you to look at is Cole Kmet here, tight end. I've given Cole Kmet a lot of flack. If you follow me on Twitter, you know that I was never a fan of the Cole Kmet pick in the second round, where the Bears made that decision in last year's draft. And he didn't really do much to change my mind on that in his rookie season. But with that said, it's been a slow start for him so far. But he has been solid as a blocker so far to start the season. And I thought this was a very good rep for him right here, as he's going to take on the linebacker here. Basically gets him out of the hole, which allows David Montgomery to cut this thing right back up. And we're going to let that play one more time. This is helped out by, I think, Cody White here helps push this linebacker out of the play as well. But just a very nice job by this Bears offensive line. This Bears offensive line, I don't think they're a good unit necessarily, but in the right matchups, they do have the ability to maul people at times against weaker defensive fronts. This offensive line is built to be more of a run blocking first unit, and we definitely saw them in this game. They were able to beat up on the Lions a little bit in this one. They were able to grind out some yards, and it really helped this offense, I thought, stay on schedule. I'd like to see them throw the ball a bit more. Justin Fields only had 20 dropbacks in this game, but when you're running the ball as effectively as they were in this one, I don't mind sticking to it in that sense, especially when you want to keep the rookie quarterback in a rhythm. Okay, this play is so much fun right here. So the Bears, they have a wildcat going on here where David Montgomery is in at the quarterback position. I'm going to back it up a little bit right here. And Darnell Mooney is in the backfield as a running back here. And they ran this wildcat play a couple times in this game, and it really gave the Detroit Lions fits. They couldn't stop this formation whenever they went to a wildcat formation or wildcat set. They just couldn't figure it out. And what we're going to see here is Darnell Mooney. He's going to get the handoff right here. You're going to get two good blocks from your wide receivers on the edge on this play. And then Jason Peters is going to take out the defensive end on a nice little cut block here, which we'll see that really springs this play to the outside. Or actually, no, that's a different play I'm thinking about here. But so what we're going to see from the tight here is they're basically going to fake out these linebackers. So I'm going to go back here. Well, there's you can see the touchdown right there. So what we're going to see here is we're going to see, I think, both Cody Whitehair and Jason Peters pull on this play, and that's going to drag the linebackers to that side of the formation. Because typically when you see a lineman pull as a linebacker, your keys tell you to read that and then go with the pull. And as we're going to see here, that's going to do just enough to call these linebackers to hesitate. They go to the left there, and what do you know? Darnell Mooney's got the ball, and he's got all this green grass to go to right here. And just good enough blocking from your wide receivers on the edge there, get an easy first down. So we're going to see this from the tight one more time. I want you to focus on the linebackers and what they do to react to the offensive lineman pulling. And there's all this green grass right there. Darnell Mooney does a nice job of getting yards after contact and cutting up field. Really nice play from this Bears offense right here. And again, just the creativity of the running game this year has been something that has really stood out to me. Again, they don't have the most talent up front in this offensive line, so they have to be a little bit creative with what they do here. And that's what we've seen from them so far this year. And I think this was another good example of it right here in this play, another wildcat formation. I think this time they have Damian Williams and Khalil Herbert in the backfield with David Montgomery, who's playing quarterback once again. And what we're going to see on this one is that David Montgomery is going to keep the ball on this play. And he's going to basically get a lead block from his running back right there. And boy, David Montgomery, man, when he gets in space, he is just so good at breaking tackles. So I think it's going to be Khalil Herbert who's going to be the lead blocker, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. So it's a read option basically play. And man, that's just good stuff right there. So again, lots of good stuff from this offense, especially on the ground game. They did a really nice job with that all game long, I thought. And a really nice job by Bill Lazor, Matt Nagy, and this coaching staff of being creative and not being afraid to change things up a bit. I know a lot of Bears fans, you would say that, you're running these four wildcat formations with David Montgomery as a trigger man there. Like, why not just do this with Justin Fields, who is, runs a 4.40, he's athletic, he's really good with the ball in his hands. And the way I see it, I don't mind trying to mix things up a bit and giving defenses a little bit of a different look, especially with your quarterback in Justin Fields. You want to avoid giving him as many unnecessary hits as possible. And one way to do that is to go to more of a wildcat formation with David Montgomery in there and see what he can do. Because I think David Montgomery did play quarterback in high school, if I'm not mistaken. So he does have experience with it. Obviously, not to the level of a Justin Fields. But again, I think it's just to give defenses a little bit of a change of pace, different looks, and just to make them think a little bit about what to do here. So we're going to transition now to the defensive side of the ball. Again, not a lot of X's and O's to break down here, but just watch Robert Quinn on this play. This is the first sack that the Bears got in this game. I think this was on the third possession for the Lions here. They're in the red zone again. And this is just a fantastic speed rush by Robert Quinn to get into the backfield here and cause a strip sack on this play. So we're going to watch it here from this angle. And yeah, you can see right there that Robert Quinn basically just anticipated the snap count and just got a better jump off the line of scrimmage than Penei Sewell. And Penei Sewell, rookie left tackle for the Lions, I mean, he was a stud coming out of Oregon, I thought, as a prospect. He was one of the best offensive tackle prospects that I've ever seen, certainly in the last couple of years. And he's been good to start off the year. He's been pretty solid for the Lions here at left tackle. And what we're going to see here is that Robert Quinn is just a split second faster than Penei Sewell off the line of scrimmage. And that split second is long enough for him to get the angle on Penei Sewell here to get to Jared Goff. So we're going to look at this right here. And we can see right there that, let me back it up a little bit. Yep, right there. So Robert Quinn is already ready to go here before Penei Sewell is like barely out of the stance and ready to go. And that caused him just enough time to turn the corner. And boy, how good has Robert Quinn been this year? I mean, what is going on with this guy? He was, it's really a situation where it comes down to, Robert Quinn was dealing with a lot of, health issues last year. I think he had drop foot last season, and that really took away his explosiveness. I mean, you could tell watching him last year. This is not the same Robert Quinn. He looks exactly like the guy that the Bears thought they were getting when they signed him to that big contract, and he's been awesome so far this year at that edge rusher position, just adding so much explosiveness that we haven't seen from this pass rush. Khalil Mack adds a lot more power and brute force as a pass rusher than pure speed, and he can beat you with speed. But Robert Quinn, he's just a pure speed edge rusher. We're certainly seeing that this year. All right, this next sack here I want to get to. This is Khalil Mack getting his sack, and I thought this was a really fun play from a design perspective that Sean Desai did, designing this stunt right here. So we're going to see it right here, right away. I'll let you just look at it, and then we're going to get to the schematic part of it, the nitty-gritty, the nerdy stuff right here that I just want to get through here. So what we're seeing right here on this play. So what the Bears are showing right here is they are going to be showing a bluff blitz to the left side of the offensive formation with DeAndre Houston-Carson in that dime linebacker role, basically showing blitz as well. So with the numbers advantage where the Bears are showing four potential blitzers to the left of the offensive line, and then DeAndre Houston-Carson showing blitz here, What that forces the Lions to do from a protection standpoint is that they're going to shift all their offensive linemen to the left, and they're going to open up that space for the running back to take DeAndre Houston Carson as the blocker there. And what's really smart about what Sean Desai does here is he anticipates that the running back is going to be matched up against DeAndre Houston Carson, that they're going to be sliding the offensive line to the left to take on the blitz because they had to account for that protection-wise here. And what Sean decided to do here was really unique here. And what basically DeAndre Houston Carson is doing here is he's setting a pick on the right tackle for Khalil Mack. And basically Khalil Mack's going to get a free runner on the quarterback because what that does now then is that switches things for the running back and the right tackle. So Khalil Mack, he's going to be getting the running back on this play to go through. And as anyone knows, Khalil Mack on a running back is a just hilarious mismatch. And we're going to see that right here on this play right here. So watch the offensive line from the right guard on. They slide to the left. DeAndre Houston creates the pick. And then Khalil Mack just jumps in and makes the play. So we're going to back up that one more time. So again, watch DeAndre Houston Carson. He's not even trying to win on this play. He's just trying to get a piece of that right tackle, and he does so just enough. I mean, DeAndre Houston Carson doesn't do much to affect the play in terms of, he's not going to beat his man right here, but certainly does enough to impact the play and give Khalil Mack a chance to get one-on-one with the running back, and that's just way too easy. All right, this is the third sack and a third play I want to go over, and this is Travis Gibson, his sack, his first sack of his career. I thought this was just a very impressive pass rush in general. We'll see it from the tight here. Again, nothing too fancy from a schematic standpoint. It's just a basic four-man rush. And Travis Gibson, he does a nice job of using a swim move on Penei Sewell here. So basically, Penei Sewell is going to try to – he oversets a little bit to the outside. And what that opens up is Travis Gibson's going to see that he's going to have an inside track to the quarterback. And before Penei Sewell can get his hands on him, Travis Gibson's going to give him a nice swim move here to get right by him, deny access to his pads, and get right past him to Jared Goff here. So this is a great rep from Travis Gibson. We're going to see it right here. So before, right there, just that's a beautiful pass rush right here. And Travis Gibson, he's a very talented prospect coming out of Tulsa. But just needed a year, I think, to get his body right and get used to the NFL game, coming from a small school where he played a lot of inside defensive line as opposed to being a pure edge rusher. And I think we're starting to see that pay dividends here with that year to get ready here because, boy, has he looked really good. And that was a fantastic – that is a prototypical swim move right there. So you love to see that from Travis Gibson. He has really shown nice development from preseason on as an edge rusher, and we saw another good example of that right here. Now, with some of the good that we saw in the defense, I did not think they played a perfect game. Obviously, 14 points is nice, but the Detroit Lions did move the ball on them quite a bit in this game here. And a lot of that had to do with the fact that the pass rush, they were doing good. The run defense was not so good, but there were some coverage issues and miscommunications once again. And this was the biggest example of that here. This is the one negative I'll point out on the defense. So what the Lions are running on this play, this is the second touchdown they got in this game, is basically they're running a variation of four verticals right here with the running back running a little slant pattern underneath. And what they're trying to do here is they're basically trying to test the Bears' cover four quarters coverage, which is what I think they're running here because there's going to be, as we're going to see, there's going to be a coverage breakdown. So we're going to see it from this angle right here. So this is what I think the Bears are running here. So basically, cover four match. This is a classic coverage the Bears have ran since Vic Fangio arrived here as defensive coordinator back in 2015, I think it was. And what we're having is here's the safety. He's running cover. What they're basically going to be doing is the cornerbacks and the safeties here, they're going to be matching up against the first receivers to enter their zones. And that's the same thing that's going to be happening with the linebackers and corners underneath is basically what's going to happen is they're going to be matched up against these guys, and they're going to pass them off to the safeties and or cornerbacks who are going to then basically cover them in a man-to-man situation once they get into their zone. It's a basic match zone principle right here. And what I think is supposed to happen here is that Alec Ogletree, who is the middle linebacker on this play, he's lined up over the left side defensive tackle. If you're not sure where he is, his responsibility is to cover that number 3 wide receiver on the bottom of the screen. So Imagine the number 3 wide receiver is the third receiver away from the sideline. So the receiver close to the sideline is the number 1 receiver. The second receiver close to the sideline, who's lined up at the 30-yard line, he's the number 2 receiver, and then the receiver to the left of him, he's the number 3 receiver. So Ogletree's job in this play is to carry the number 3 receiver until we get to the safety here, which is Deion Bush at that cover 4 quarters safety spot, and then Deion Bush, from my understanding of this coverage, is then supposed to take on the receiver and carry him the rest of the way. But as we're going to see here, that's not quite what happened. There is a miscommunication here. So for whatever reason, Deion Bush just is playing a robber coverage on this play, and I don't think that's what's supposed to happen. So originally, I thought the issue was that this was a cover 6 coverage that the Bears were running, and that Ogletree was at fault for this because typically in a cover 6, Deion Bush is covering the entire half of the field. In that situation, Ogletree has to carry the inside receiver through the seam route here. But what changes that for me is that Kindle Vildor at the bottom of the screen, he's playing vertically too. So in a typical cover 6, Kindle Vildor will be playing the flat on this play in a basic cover 2 principal coverage, but he's playing quarters on this play. So that tells me that Deion Bush was supposed to be in quarters coverage on this play, and he was supposed to take the receiver here who was going deep. So Alec Ogletree did his assignment on this one. In my opinion, this is a coverage bust by Deion Bush here. I could be wrong, but that's just according to my understanding of the Bears cover 4 principles. That's what happened on this play, which led to the touchdown here. So we're going to see it from this angle right here. Jared Goff sees the safety, and that's just an easy wide open touchdown here. That's just something that can't happen. And we've seen a couple of those happen so far with Sean Desai's defense. There have been a couple of miscommunications here. I think it's just a matter of it's early in the season, and Sean Desai, he's still implementing what he wants to do with his defense, and we're going to see some of that here. All right, though, we don't want to talk about the running game, the defense. We want to talk about some Justin Fields. And Justin Fields, he had a much better game in this one overall, but I want to go through the negatives that I saw first, and then we'll end with some of the positives in this one. So this is the first negative I saw in this game, and this is a basic situation where the Lions are showing a 6-man blitz here, and as we can see here, the Bears have a 5-man protection here. And what they have, they're basically running 3 slants and a go ball on this one. And what has to happen here on this play is that Justin Fields, what the Bears are going to do is they're going to slide their offensive line protection to the right side of the formation here to take on the 4 blitzers to that side of the field. And that linebacker who's lined up over the defensive end at the top of the screen there, he's going to be blitzing on this play as well. If he blitzes, Justin Fields is responsible for that blitzer. And what he has to do in this play, even though it's a 3rd down and long on this play, so I'd imagine that Justin Fields, he's trying to read this play as he normally would read it because it's 3rd down. But because the Lions are showing a blitz look on this play pre-snap, Justin Fields has to know in the back of his mind that if that Lions blitzer comes, he has to get this ball out to his hot read, which is David Montgomery out of the backfield here. And what we're going to see here is that Justin Fields, he's too busy reading this play out. He doesn't even notice that the linebacker is coming, and that impacts the throw where I think Justin Fields wanted to throw back shoulder to Marquise Goodwin at the bottom of the screen, which is what I think he wants to do. So I think he's trying to hit Allen Robinson first, doesn't like it, tries to go to the back shoulder with I think it's either Darnell Mooney or Marquise Goodwin here. But here's a better angle of the blitz here. So right now the lines are showing blitz right here in 31. He's kind of faking like he's going to go cover David Montgomery or drop back or blitz. So Justin Fields in a blitz situation here, he's responsible for number 31. And number 31 is going to be the guy that comes clean on this blitz right here. So Justin Fields knowing that if number 31 comes, this ball has to go to David Montgomery because the Lions are running man-to-man coverage across the board except for David Montgomery. They're leaving him on this play because the safety is playing over the top zone on this one. So this ball has to come out to David Montgomery, in my opinion, because it's a hot read on this one. And Justin Fields just doesn't recognize the blitz, which happens for a rookie quarterback. This is stuff that happens. So, again, this is something we saw a little bit against Cleveland, carrying over a little bit. You want to see that improve. So this is the second negative from Justin Fields, and this is the sack from late in the 4th quarter that had everyone freaking out a little bit for Chicago Bears fans. This is when kind of looked like the Detroit Lions were going to get back into this game a little bit. But what we basically, the Bears are running a play action scissors concept. So the wide receiver and the tight end, Jimmy Graham, I think it is, are running scissors concept on this play. And what Justin Fields basically has to do here is he has to get the ball out to his check down. And he just takes a split second too long. Cole Kmet's coming across the formation to block the edge rusher. He completely whiffs on the block, which it's going to happen when you have a tight end blocking an edge rusher. That stuff happens. But this play, Justin Fields needs to get the ball out of his hands a little bit quicker here. So we see the fake, and it's not there, right? And he just holds onto the ball too long. So we're going to back it up here a little bit more. All right, so play action right here. We stop. So theoretically, he could get that ball to Jimmy Graham if he wants to test that coverage hole right there. But the corner continues to drop. This ball has to be out right now to the running back here for the safe throw. Instead, he just holds on to the ball a little bit too long. And we're going to see it from the tight here after a little bit of theatrics in terms of the ball rolling around all over the place here. So we're going to take a look here. Cole Kmet, watch his block right here, just gets nothing of this edge rusher. So I think, again, when Justin Fields, what we're going to see here is he's going to hitch and start to run instead of getting the ball out here. Again, rookie mistake. This stuff is going to happen. And this is an issue Justin Fields had at Ohio State. So, again, that's just something that he's going to have to work on going forward. But with that said, there was a lot of improvement that we saw in this game from Justin Fields. And this is the first completion, his first pass of the game. And what this read is a basic spot curl concept here. This is as basic as it gets. It's football 101. We see this play in Madden all the time. I'm sure everyone's run this play in Madden. And what this play is basically you have Darnell Mooney running the curl route, the little spot route in the middle of the field. Cole Kmet's running a flat. You have the receiver in the slot running a kind of a sail route to the sideline here. And the read is pretty simple here. Justin Fields, he's going to read the linebacker. If the linebacker drops in the coverage into that window to cover the spot route, he's going to the flat. If the linebacker chases the flat route to the tight end, he's going to find the spot route in the unoccupied zone that the linebacker leaves here. So pretty simple overall. And Justin Fields, to his credit, he reads it, sees the linebackers going, gets the ball on time to Darnell Mooney for the easy completion. So one more time here. We're going to see it from Justin Fields' perspective. Sees him breaking wide open, easy completion. Good stuff there. First down, get yourself into a rhythm. All right, this is the play that had everybody hyped up at the stadium when this happened. Like the stadium went wild when this happened. And this is a basic cover 3 beater here that the Bears called on this play. And what they have is a basic out and up concept for Darnell Mooney here. And he's basically the read on this play. Like Justin Fields, he's going to be looking for this all the way. The Bears are going to have not max protection, but they're going to have their tight ends chip and then release the flats on this one to get some extra help for the pass protection, for the tackles. So they have more time for Justin Fields to read this out and get the ball to Darnell Mooney on a longer developing play here. And the Lions, they're going to be running a cover 3 zone. And an out-and-up concept like this is a perfect cover 3 beater to get in between the cornerback and the safety on the zone, especially when the safety is so far to the opposite hash. So, this ball that Justin Fields threw was just flat out perfect. It is so weird to see quarterbacks from Chicago throwing perfect deep balls like this. Like, this never happens for Bears quarterbacks. But you can see, look at Justin Fields' eyes. He's looking at the safety the entire way, sees it, looks him off just for that split second, gives enough time. So I want you to look at his eyes one more time on this play, because this is really good stuff here. So watch his eyes. Look what he does right before he throws his ball. You see that right there? He's looking at the safety right here, and he's looking him off, and then he gets right back to the go route right there. Darnell Mooney throws a perfect pass, and then Darnell Mooney gets some extra yards after the catch. Like, this is the play that really broke things open for this offense here. And this is later on in that drive. This is a third down opportunity. And what we have here is Justin Fields' first read on this one is to get Allen Robinson on a little in route dig, so to speak. Here they have a mirrored concept here with where Allen Robinson's running a little in route to like a 10-yard in route here. Cole Kmet's running the same thing, and then what we have here on opposite sides of the concept here is Darnell Mooney lined up in the backfield. He's running a wheel route, and then I think it's Marquise Goodwin who's at the top of the screen at wide receiver. He's running an in and out route, what we call a jerk route, basically at the sticks. And what I like about this play is what the Lions are showing here pre-snap is a quarters look here or a cover two look here with two high safeties. And what they're going to do is they're going to drop into a cover one robber on this play and basically take away this in route from Allen Robinson here. And Justin Fields, he's going to recognize that right away. He's going to go through his progressions. Nothing's going to be there. And then he's just going to take off because he recognizes that he's got to get the first down here. So we're going to see this. I'm going to back up one more time. So you could argue that Justin Fields, you can see right there that Cole Kmet, he could get the ball to Cole Kmet here if you want to nitpick this play a little bit, because Cole Kmet, he's got inside leverage on this play. He's not really open. He's not separating here. But for the NFL, that could be considered open if you want to nitpick this here. But what you got to like about this is Justin Fields, he sees that his first read, his second read wasn't really there, didn't like it. And we just see the special playmaking ability that he offers when things break down and he needs to make a play. He has the special athleticism to make that happen. So we're going to see this right here. He sees the cover, sees the safety come down and rob this. Not there, goes to his second read, doesn't like it, gets out, makes a play, outruns the linebacker, or outruns the safety on this one. So really nice play on third down by Justin Fields. And all right, this is another deep shot that Allen Robinson throws. Again, off of play action on this one once again. And what we have here, it's kind of similar to the play they ran to Darnell Mooney, except a different variation of that. So Marquise Goodwin, who's playing they have a stack release at the top of the screen here. Marquise Goodwin, who's the wide receiver at the line of scrimmage here. He's running a deep route to get the safeties out of the play. The play action is going to get the linebackers up to open up that space, open up that window a little bit for Allen Robinson, who's coming underneath that. And Allen Robinson's running kind of like a deep post, deep crossing route here. And what we're going to see here is Justin Fields throws a laser on this play. No pun intended with Bill Lazor as the play caller. And that was just a fantastic throw right there to get to Allen Robinson, who gets good separation on this route as well. So we're going to see from the tight here, look at the ball that Justin Fields throws here. So you see the play action, gets the linebackers up, and zings that thing in there. That was a heck of a throw. He threw a lot of mustard on that one. Okay, and this was arguably Justin Fields' best throw of the day. I'm getting his two best throws out here on these last two plays, at least in my opinion. And so if you recognize the concept here that the Bears are running here, it's two goes on the outside with a middle route in the middle read from the tight end here in the slot. And if you recognize this, the Bears ran a variation of this play actually last week against Cleveland. And what happened on that play in that game against the Browns was that Justin Fields hesitated at the top of his drop, didn't throw the ball on time, and took the sack as a result. Now, Jermaine Ifedi got beat really badly on that play, but with that said, Justin Fields needed to get the ball out there. On this one, Justin Fields times this up perfectly. Perfect timing, perfect accuracy. Gets top of drop, knows where he's going, and boom, throws it. And that's just a perfect ball. That thing is just a thing of beauty right there. So we're going to look at this one more time. Look at Justin Fields' timing on this play. 1, 2, 3. No hitch. Just get the ball out. Perfect ball. Perfect accuracy. That might have been his best throw, but this one right here, this is what I want to end on right here. And this is another play action concept where I don't like the spacing on this play, to be honest. It looks like Marquise Goodwin got a little bit too close to Allen Robinson here. He's running a deep corner, sail route, whatever you want to call it. But this play is this is a special throw. And what we're seeing here is that the Lions are running cover two here, and Justin Fields just fits the ball into the cover two hole shot. No way around it. Because look at the cornerback at the bottom of the screen. He's going backwards the entire one. He's playing that deep route the entire time. He's reading this perfectly. Justin Fields doesn't care because he knows that he has the arm talent and the ability to make this throw in his sleep. and he just throws a dart to Allen Robinson, who makes a phenomenal catch on this play. So we're going to see it right here from the tight. Justin Fields, what I like about this, he checks out of the original play, so he likes what he saw pre-snap, recognizes what he's seen pre-snap, and just throws a beautiful ball in a tight window. That's gonna get it done in the NFL. That was a great play overall from Justin Fields, and that capped off, I thought, a fantastic game from Justin Fields. He wasn't asked to do too much in this game, but when he was asked to make plays, he made plays. So, there you have it, guys. Those are my thoughts on this Bears-Lions game. Obviously, a lot of good here. Once again, so much fun getting to see Fields flash what the potential could be for him here in Chicago. He had a lot of good stuff right here in this game to put on film, and we saw that with those last couple of throws. And you can just feel the excitement is palpable in the city now. And now that he's confirmed to be the starter moving forward over Andy Dalton, all systems are a go for this offense. He'll have a big test this upcoming weekend, I think, on the road against the Las Vegas Raiders. I expect the Bears to have a similar game plan going forward from what we saw against the Lions, where it's going to be a lot of under center stuff for Justin Fields, a lot of play actions, and trying to get him to attack down the field. But overall, there's a lot of positive to break down here in this game for Justin Fields and what he was able to do against this Lions defense. He's going to have to do it against a better defense against this Raiders. The Raiders, they have a really good pass rush. They're banged up in the secondary right now, but they've been playing pretty well to start the year. We'll see how Justin Fields responds. All right. That wraps up for me today. Once again, if you want to see more of these film breakdowns, leave a like and subscribe. Don't be afraid to make your thoughts known in the comments section below as well. Again, we always appreciate your feedback and having some nice, fun football conversations. Thank you for tuning in, Bears fans, to this episode of The Film Room. Bear down and have a great weekend.